Recently, massive changes have been taking place in the VR market, and as someone who's been playing VR for 8 years, it's definitely unprecedented. A couple months ago, the company behind Moss, Polyarc, released most of their devs and cancelled a major project, citing inadequate funding. In January, Camouflage, the creators of Iron Man VR and Batman Arkham Shadow, also laid off a large amount of their devs. And just a few days ago, Survios, creators of Creed Rise to Glory, Alien Rogue Incursion, and Raw Data, yes, that Raw Data, had to lay off the bulk of their staff in preparation for shutting down the company. Once upon a time, these three companies were atlases holding up the VR market. If you've been in the VR space for any amount of time, you've most likely played one of their games. But now they're gone, or on their last legs, and it's all Meta's fault. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but it's probably true. In 2020, the VR market was laser focused on improving tech and improving immersion to create full-scale games in the VR format. Games like Blood and Truth, Saints and Sinners, Iron Man VR were all constantly trying to push the boundaries of what you could do in VR. What started off in the mainstream as Samsung Gear and YouTube 360 gimmicks was finally beginning to get actual recognition as a format for amazing gameplay, moving stories, and stunning visuals.
Stay at home.
Staying at home.
Schooling from home.
Lockdown changed everything. School became remote, work became remote, life became remote. And people wanted to cling to normality, to reality, to interaction. Over the course of the next 2 years, the focus of VR investors switched like a light. Now, real human connection was being prioritized. Living a second life, a digital life, as a digital version of yourself. A new word was coined. Trigger warning. Excessive viewing or listening to this word may cause headaches, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, impotence, infertility, body odor, fear of washing, bad breath, greasy skin, and a strong desire to stay indoors. The word was metaverse. And who else would want to jump on the chance to literally dictate how people live their lives than Zuckerberg? Facebook had owned Oculus for 7 years at this point, but within a flash the industry-leading brand Oculus was given the axe, and Meta arose from the ashes with a new, disgusting logo. In the next year, Meta released a new metaverse platform, Horizon Worlds. This was intended to be the place where everyone across the globe met, conversed, played games, and lived out their lives. There was only one small issue. The world was reopening. 2022 was the year everything returned to some semblance of normal. Public spaces filled again, shops and schools were operating as normal. Some offices reopened, although some stayed remote. For the most part though, people were flocking back outside again. Metaverse never took off. It only caught on with Web 3.0 guys, the kinds who were desperate to be early adopters to any doomed endeavour. Fast forward to this year, Meta announces VR support for Horizon is ending. And then they announce it isn't, but will only have very limited support. This decision, as well as an obvious pivot to AI investment, meant Meta had essentially just driven a nail into the coffin of VR. Horizon had been suffering for a while anyway, no doubt removing confidence in VR from the investors. Maybe that's why Rec Room was struggling so hard to raise funds. I won't say conclusively that Meta's complete mishandling of their power over the greater VR market is what caused Rec Room's hardship, as at the end of the day they were still an unprofitable company producing a poor product, but I think Meta have had a big role to play in some of the shutdowns we're seeing now. In fact, for some they've had a direct role. There are 4 studios that I can find that Meta own and have shut down just this year. Camouflage, Twisted Pixel, Armature, and Sanzaru. All of this because Mark Zuckerberg decides VR is dead. All of this because Mark Zuckerberg wants to invest in AI. This isn't just affecting Reality Labs anymore. This isn't just affecting Meta anymore. It sent shockwaves throughout the entire VR market. 1,000 jobs were lost at Meta alone. And now the VR market is left with no direction. Another Meta headset is unlikely now that Reality Labs is shifting its attention more and more to AI and Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Sony's PSVR 2 is complete abandonware now since the PC adapter was released. It appears Sony are wanting to wash their hands of the headset, and were looking to do so since it released. PSVR 2 released right at the apex of the metaverse craze, as Meta became untouchable in the VR market. Sony probably figured it was a lost cause from the start, and just released the headset to recoup the lost R&D money. Steam frames are the only big upcoming headset remaining. Like the Valve Index before it, it has a good chance to send more shockwaves through the industry. If Steam frames launch with a game even half as good as Half-Life Alyx, we may be in for a chance. But as we stand right now, we're looking at maybe the first major video game crash since the 80s. An entire market wiped out with one fell swoop. Zuckerberg may have just killed VR. As always guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend, click the bell so you're notified whenever I upload, and comment what you think. Do you think the VR market is dying? I hope not, but you never know. Subscribe to the Rec Room Video Archive project, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.